The greatest gift you can give someone is your attention. Show them just how extraordinary they really are by wrapping up their day with a personal touch. Let me share a secret recipe. Discover an ingredient that fires your imagination. Choose other flavors to match. Find the best way to cook them. My secret recipe? Cooking without a recipe. It's Rachel's birthday, so as a special gift in her honor, I'm going to create and name a new dish using lobster. Monsieur Omard and I are going to take a little creative journey together today. He or she is actually a pretty good traveling companion because, hey, fish, any fish, is easy to get along with, even a crusty crustacean. When you're buying a lobster, you're really only looking for one thing. Make sure it's alive and kicking. Make sure it's moving and grooving. And if it is, take it home. Get to know it. And when you do, have some fun. Experiment. Now, I know the name of today's dish. I'm going to call it Lobster a la Rachel, but I don't know what's in it yet. Fish, any fish, is so easy to cook that you can easily experiment with it every time. But that doesn't mean you have to get complicated. So let's see what I have. Oh, I could make a nice Thai coconut lobster broth, but we had Thai food last week. I could make a chickpea hummus with some lobster in it, but that's a little weird. I know. I'm going to keep it simple. I'll just make a lobster sauce. And for that, I'll need some cream, because nothing beats the ability of cream to absorb lobster flavor. Cream is also really good at absorbing lobster color. It'll turn nice and pink, so I might as well throw some tomatoes in there too. Really run with that red color. So, a pasta to serve with lobster sauce. Well, you know, the sauce will be thick and creamy, so I don't want to use a fettuccine, a linguine, or a spaghetti. I'm a little worried that the sauce will sort of slide off the long, skinny pastas. Instead, I want something with nooks, crannies, and hollows. Penne. Perfect. And some cream. And now I have everything I need to make a tasty lobster sauce. So to get started, I'm going to steam these off. But you see those little rubber bands on there? Those are there to keep the lobster from biting your fingers off. But I've got to get them off before I steam the lobster. And here's how you do that. Simply grab them, cross them over like that, hold on tight, and pull them off. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of water, maybe a ½ an inch deep. Steaming is best because that way you don't lose any flavor into the boiling water that ultimately ends up going down the drain. Now, I'm going to cook these off for about 15 minutes max, somewhere in there depending on the size of the lobster. That gives me plenty of time for my second favorite aphrodisiac. We'll get to the chocolate later, oysters. If you don't have a fancy oyster knife at home, you can just as easily use an old screwdriver. Now here's perhaps the best tip of all. Protect your left hand with any kind of heavy-duty glove, because as you get in there and start working that hinge, sometimes the knife can slip. About halfway down, it's going to meet a little resistance. That's what's called the abductor muscle. That's the muscle that's holding these shells together. So just cut right through it, and it'll pop right off. Now you're almost done, because what you have now is a beautiful oyster, but it's still attached to the bottom shell. Wipe off your knife one more time, and then just run it underneath the oyster like that, and now you're ready for seafood nirvana. God, I love these. Suck, slurp, and chew. Man, they just taste like pure ocean. Okay, you know what? I'm going to serve some of these up later when Rachel gets here. I'll have a cocktail sauce waiting when she does. For that, I'll need some ketchup, some horseradish, some Worcestershire, and a lemon. This is the kind of sauce you definitely don't need a recipe for. Ketchup. That should do it right there. Dash of Worcestershire. Horseradish, though, key ingredient in cocktail sauce because this adds that sharp bite, that kick that you're so used to. And just a squeeze of lemon juice. And now, all you have to do is just combine it. Wow. Horseradish. That's going to go good with those oysters. I'll open those up later, get those presented nicely. My lobster is definitely done. It's going to make a beautiful sauce. It's Rachel's birthday, and since she already has her own chef, I'm going to give her the gift of a brand new dish created in her honor using her favorite shellfish. I'm on a voyage of discovery, and I won't need a recipe to find my way ashore, just the true spirit of culinary adventure. But I'm going to keep it simple, because you can dress a lobster up all you want, but it better taste good when you eat it. So I've steamed a few off. I'm going to work them into a pasta sauce with tomatoes and cream, perfect for a birthday dinner. I've also got some beautiful oysters standing by. So to transform these into a sauce, I'm going to have to separate them into their two basic parts, the meat of course, and the shell, because the shells of these lobsters are loaded with flavor, and that's what's going to flavor my sauce. Now this job is going to get a little bit messy, so take the time to set your kitchen up. So first, just tear those claws and legs right off the front. And then just grasp the tail on the back like this and twist, turn, just like that. Tail pops right off. And now take the front shell and pull it up. Now we're going to save this part. I'm also going to save these legs. But this part is all going bye-bye. Those are actually the lobster lungs, and they're a little bitter. Now for the tails. Now the next major part you have to deal with are the claws. And last but not least, the knuckle meat. And of course I'm going to save that shell. Well, the next step is a little violent. For that, I'm going to need a standard issue hammer. By breaking those up into little pieces, in essence, I'm just going to make it easier for the flavor to come out into the liquid. Okay, time to put this sauce together. Now, as you can see, I've also saved the liquid left over from steaming the lobster. There's a lot of flavor in there right now. It's a good start to the sauce. Now for the rest, the cream, the tomatoes. I guess I'm adding about a cup or so of cream for each lobster. It's going to need some wine too. So I guess I added about, I don't know, another cup or so per lobster. A couple of onions, a little bit of garlic. This is going to have to simmer for at least an hour for all that flavor to come out. And some garlic. 4 cloves in total. What else should I put in there? A bay leaf. I guess the only thing missing here is a little bit of heat and time. Clock time, not fresh time. Time for another friendly fish flavor, smoked salmon. You know, smoked salmon is classically served with a simple group of flavors: sour cream, capers, dill, lemon, and potatoes. So I was thinking, why not make a potato smoked salmon salad? I'll bet you Rachel will love it. Doesn't take very much water to get this steaming, just an inch or so. I'm gonna need fresh dill. Dill goes perfectly with smoked salmon. It's not so strongly flavored that it overpowers the salmon, and it's not so lightly flavored that it doesn't enhance the salmon. So, how do you know which herbs go best with which ingredients? In the world of herbs, a little bit goes a long way. Like spices, they're a seasoning ingredient, prized for their flavor, but consumed in relatively small amounts. To toss herbs around like a chef, think about the dish you're seasoning. Is it strong or is it mild? Then ask yourself, do I want to complement or contrast? To complement, try not to overwhelm the main ingredient. For lighter foods like fish or chicken, use lighter herbs like parsley, dill, or even oregano. For stronger ingredients like beef or lamb, use stronger herbs like mint, sage, rosemary, or thyme. For interesting contrast, try flipping the formula. A strong herb like cilantro adds much needed flavor to a lighter meat like pork, but in general, the reverse doesn't work. I find that lighter herbs get lost in the shuffle of strong flavors. Beef with dill, anyone? No thanks, I'm kind of full. Dill is a perfect middle-of-the-road herb. It's got lots of distinctive flavor, but it's not too strong. It won't overwhelm the smoked salmon or the potato. So on with the dressing. Just get a spoonful of sour cream. I'll add the lemon zest right to the sour cream. Now for the juice. Capers are perfect with smoked salmon. That sourness in them really helps accent the rich smokiness of smoked salmon. Now for the potatoes. And the dill. And of course, the smoked salmon, the good stuff. Here it comes. Almost forgot, onions are classic with that group of flavors too. That's kind of strong, that part. I'm not going to put that in a salad, but I've got the perfect place for this. Green onions. Now that's a salad. And lobster a la Rachel's looking good too. It's amazing how much flavor we throw down the drain sometimes. These lobster shells are making a dandy sauce. There's some more flavor gifts around here somewhere too. It's Rachel's birthday, so naturally I'm cooking up a birthday feast for her. On the menu, me, and a brand new lobster dish especially created for her. I steamed off 2 lobsters, then separated their meat from their shells. The shells are actively flavoring a creamy tomato sauce as we speak. Just look at this lobster sauce. This has been simmering for about an hour or so, and 2 basic things have happened. The creamy tomato has absorbed all the lobster flavor out of those shells, and at the same time, it's concentrated that flavor. So the only thing I need to add now is a little finesse. And for that, I simply need a strainer. I remember the first time I simmered lobster shells as an apprentice cook years ago. I was amazed at how much flavor there was in it. I was convinced that the chef was having me on, that he was playing a practical joke on me. But when I tasted the sauce, I knew he was serious. Man, it never ceases to amaze me how much flavor there is in lobster shells. That is really good. but it needs a little bit of seasoning. Let me put some salt in and something to cut that richness. Maybe something with a little bit of pungency to it. Let me see what I have. Oh yeah, the horseradish. Why not? That should do it right there. That's just right. Perfect. I taste the lobster. It's front and center. But there's just this nice little balancing hint of horseradish hanging around in the background. That's how you make a sauce. And this is how you make an impressive treat. Chocolate and cream. Boy, if ever two ingredients were meant to go together, here they are. Kind of like Rachel and I. I actually made this last night. It was really easy. Cream and chocolate were made for each other. Together they're magical. And depending how they're combined, they can take on many forms with many personalities. Mousse, glaze, frosting, or even a rich filling for hand-rolled truffles. My favorite filling begins with 1 pound of the darkest chocolate you can find, tossed into a bowl set over a pot of simmering water. This insulates the delicate chocolate from direct heat and keeps it from scorching. Add a cup of cream and gently stir until the star-crossed lovers smoothly combine. This mixture, known as ganache, or better yet, just plain cream and chocolate, is best made in advance, so it has a chance to thoroughly cool and harden. Of course, my favorite thing to do with chocolate and cream is to make hand-rolled truffles. They're just as fun to make as they are to eat. So for best results, make sure your chocolate cream mixture is nice and cold. It's easier to work with, it's easier to scoop out, and it's easier to roll. Now I've already taken some chocolate and melted it down. Time to dip. In they go, out they come, and there it is, a hand-dipped, hand-rolled truffle good to go. Wait a minute, I'm not done yet. This is what a pastry chef would call the texture component, and they're perfect for dipping truffles in. Now we're talking hand-rolled, hand-dipped, and crispy too. Okay, now these aren't ready just yet. They need to cool down, and as they do, the chocolate is going to set up nice and hard, and these are going to be nice and crispy. Rachel's birthday feast has shaped up nicely. It's Rachel's birthday, and since she's a fisherman's daughter and loves the sea so much, that's exactly where I've been all day. I cast my creative net and landed some oysters with homemade cocktail sauce, a beautiful smoked salmon potato salad, and the star of the show, other than Rachel, 2 lobsters. Their shells have magically flavored a creamy tomato sauce, and their meat's about to join them. But first, the penne pasta's done cooking. And of course, I'm not going to rinse this pasta because if I do, I'll wash off all the surface starch that clings to it that'll help the pasta sauce cling to it as well. Okay, time for that meat. And some baby spinach too. I want to get a little green flavor in here. And wow, this sauce is nice. Just look at that. Oh man, does it smell good. I added just a touch of horseradish to it as well, just to give it a little zing, to balance the richness of the lobster. There we go. I can't wait to see how I did. Boy, is that good. It's amazing how much rich lobster flavor there is in those shells. And the horseradish, a nice balancing accent in the background. You know, I really enjoyed playing King Neptune today and whipping up a birthday feast for Rachel. I really love her, and I really love experimenting and finding new paths in my kitchen. Something you can do in your kitchen too, especially with easy to cook, easy to play with fruits of the sea. Shall we begin with some happy birthday oysters? Help yourself.
These are beautiful.
I made you some cocktail sauce too. There's really no elegant way to eat an oyster, is there? Happy birthday.
Thank you. Cheers.
As I simmered the shells with cream and tomato, a whack of white wine.
Really tasty.
You know, I mean, it's classic flavors, right? Dill, capers, lemon, sour cream, smoked salmon, potatoes.
You can't beat dill and salmon.
And some hand-rolled crispy truffles to top it off. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And this is for you.
Oh.
Happy birthday.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Thank you.